out now. I'll tell you what, more than once. That's right.
Well, that's good to know.
Yes, it is. Oh, all right. All right. So, we've been cooking something up, Joshua.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it a little bit publicly. We've been talking a lot about it privately. And we've even done a couple live streams where we've begun
fine-tuned it, figured it out, asked questions,
flesh out some of these ideas, right? And so the title of today's live stream is How Do You Know the Paths to Take, Which Guru to Follow, Which Technology to Use, Which Marketing Philosophy to Adopt, right? There are so many options that are out there. And especially if you're just getting started with online business, whether you have had a business in the past, offline, whether you're a coach, whether you're a consultant, maybe you're an author, maybe you're a healer,
right.
Whatever your area of expertise is, getting started online has its own very unique set of challenges. And oftentimes people don't even know the questions to start asking when they're getting going, which leads you in all sorts of weird directions, right?
Well, and there's like two sides to the equation, right? I mean, there's the side of like, who should I be listening to, period, because they've got worthwhile insights and information and guidance. And then what and how does it apply to me personally?
Right.
I think that's the part that we all tend to miss, is that just because something is awesome and truly like breakthrough does not mean that it's going to work for you, given your circumstances and what you're up to and what you need to, have happen in your life and what you're trying to accomplish. So it's like, there's a double side of that filter, like, first of all, filtering out all the crap and all the illegitimate stuff that just isn't even worth anybody's attention. And then once you figure that out, like let's say that gets rid of 95% of the noise, right? But that 5% is still millions of different opportunities, possibilities of great stuff. How do you make sense of all that,
Right. Well, so something pops into my mind here, and it's a funny metaphor, especially because I've never experienced it. But check this out. You know how a lot of times we talk about the importance of skill development, of really focusing on entrepreneurs and marketers learning the skills that they need in order to be better. Like, they learn the skills first, and then you can even transfer those skills or re-engineer those skills into your business. So you're not the only one to do those things, right? Well, when you an example of a skill is martial arts, and you've done some significant martial arts training. You've put some serious martial arts time in, right?
I have.
I haven't, right? So, but I have quite a few entrepreneurial friends that end up getting really into at least one form of martial art. It looks like a lot of entrepreneurs that I know at some point in their life really, dove deep into at least one martial art. So which martial art did you spend the most time with?
Shaolin Long Fist and White Crane Kung Fu.
All right. So, and pardon my ignorance, I know nothing about this stuff, right? Now, when you first got into martial arts, were you just introduced to martial arts by someone that practiced one of those, or did you have a reason that you were seeking out a martial arts school or training or teacher?
Well, when I first got started in martial arts, or had an interest in martial arts, I was 8 years old and getting bullied.
Yes.
And so my mom enrolled me in a dojo down the street. That was a local dojo. It was actually a form of karate, but it was really great for my self-esteem, my confidence, my like I didn't learn how to fight, but I also didn't learn how to be a victim anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Awesome. So that was your first foray, right?
That was only about a year and a half or so, and then I went on and then I got really, really into it in college, and like it became almost like a religion. And I got introduced to it by a friend of mine who was a master and a high level student, and he trained me personally. He lived in the same dorms that I did, and we turns out that in New York City we grew up down the street from each other, and we had all the same friends in common, although we didn't know each other personally. So he started training me one-on-one, and he said, after the first, like, we did this warm up and this stretching, and I thought that was it, like we were done because it was hard. And he said, well, I think I better train you and get you in good enough shape so that you can withstand going into a school, And so I worked with him for about a year, and then he found me what he would approve of as a good school for me to, grow. And it became my home. Like I never been I never been one to like join frats or understand that stuff, but I guess, like, even thinking about it now, like that place, the studio, we used to call it, was my home, was my religion, it was my family.
Right.
The master, the shifu, the senior students, all of my friends there, it was like that. So I don't know where exactly you wanted me to take that, but I'm sure you have something in mind, so I'll shut up now.
Well, I'm glad the correlation is working. Like, you're really making the metaphor work for me here. So this is good. So when you first started, you were 8, and you decided, and your mom decided, you're going to start martial arts because you want to stop getting your ass kicked, right?
Pretty much.
And that worked. And then your interests evolved and changed over time.
Yep.
Right. And you found some different teachers over time, and they taught you different aspects and higher level skills,
for
right?
Sure.
Over many years. So as an internet entrepreneur, and as someone who's, as a result, becoming an internet marketer, I'd like you to consider yourself the 8-year-old. Okay. You are entering, you're asking the question. There are so many paths to take. There are so many directions I could go, right? The first, how do I know which technology you use? How do I know which guru to follow? How do I know? Well, first of all, maybe if what you're trying to do is to learn how to build an internet income, an internet business online, maybe you need to start by finding a teacher who's nearby. And I don't necessarily mean physically. I mean one that you can spot.
And one that you can identify with, like nearby in thought process and in heart and mind, so to speak.
Well, and it's the one you can find, right? I mean, they're everywhere. Right. They're everywhere. And of course, if you don't trust them, don't go with them.
Yeah.
Right?
And you got to connect with them too. Mm-hmm. I mean, just because you might trust them and respect them doesn't mean that you can connect heart to heart with them and that they're speaking your language, so to speak.
That's right. And the more experienced you are as an entrepreneur, or as an internet entrepreneur, or as an internet marketer, the higher level skills you're going to end up learning from different people along the way. Mm-hmm. Right. And so entry level, a basic skill is, to build that first business online. Right. To really get the foundation built for it in the right way. And if you haven't done that before, there's a myriad of little things that you need to learn. Right. And there's huge amount, especially starting out. There is a learning curve. And interestingly, that learning curve never really actually flattens out. It seems like the further we get down this path, the more there is to learn, Well,
if you're continually expanding those skills, then yes, you're absolutely right. And the good news, bad news side of it is that, especially in this online game and world, that if you're not continually expanding your skills, because the speed at which things change in the internet world is like, dog years times infinity.
That's right.
In the real world, that, like even you can say offline, like if you're not moving ahead, you're automatically moving behind. If you're not expanding and growing, then you're automatically moving backwards. Well, that takes longer to catch up with you offline.
Right.
Online, it really kind of forces you to continually be in that space of growth and skill. But at the same time, though, the fundamentals are the fundamentals. And if you don't get yourself distracted with all of that craziness and you stick to the fundamentals and you understand the core fundamentals, and this relates directly back to martial arts, frankly. When you first, if you're in with a reputable school and teacher, they're going to teach you the fundamentals all the time. And it's like, the cliche from Karate Kid, wax on, wax off.
Wax off.
Right? Yep. And that's it. Like there's like basic moves. And once you truly have those routed in, and at 8 years old, what did I learn? I learned what's called a kata in the Japanese arts. In Chinese martial arts, we called it sequences, but it's a series in the beginning of low level fundamentals that you just a series of kicking and punching and basic fundamental drills that you have to get good at and become unconsciously competent at, so that it just exudes from you. And so like the fundamentals are the fundamentals, and you keep on practicing it until they're like a part of your beingness. Right. And that is the same thing in the internet space and in the marketing space and in business, period.
It really is. It really is. And so when you're thinking about, hey, I'm gonna really go for this, right? I'm gonna stop being a professional student, and maybe it's because of the state of the world right now. Maybe it's because the election's coming up. Maybe it's because of pandemic related stuff, etc. Hopefully Facebook won't squelch me too bad for saying that. Whatever's going on, right? Whatever your reasons are for needing to create a new business and new stream of internet income, for a lot of people now is the time. But when faced with what guru, what direction, what this, what that, I don't know who to follow, I don't know what to do. Key element is, do you trust the person you're learning from, and do they have the ability to teach you what you need to know to create the thing you want to create? Right.
And it's hard because what's hard is that you've got to remember to stick to the fundamentals. Like I think it's Jay Abraham that taught this to me first and foremost, but there's only 3 functions of a business, right? There's getting new clients, first time new clients and customers to make that first purchase with you. There's the additional products and sales, or what's called the back end, or the lifetime value of the customer. And that is tied into the size of the orders and the frequency of the orders. That's it. And everything comes down to that. And in the internet space, there's similarly, those functions are still the same, but there's like, you have to have a way to communicate with people. You have to have a way to turn those people that you're communicating with into first-time clients, and then into repeat clients and customers, and then into, where you're serving them. And that's it. Those are the fundamentals. And everything that we're doing, all of the technology, are to enhance those things.
That's right.
Those fundamentals. And if you keep that stuff, the core stuff, solidly in mind, then you can filter it between, like, just because something is great and there's this new breakthrough thing and you get excited about it, because believe me, I'm the worst at this, right? Like I do this all the time, where I get jazzed up by something and it really is like a breakthrough thing. That doesn't mean that I should spend time on it because it's distracting me from whatever it might mean that I should put it in alignment with, at some point in the future, maybe I will implement this. And it may be that it's something that I've been looking for. That's the exact answer to my question. But, and sometimes you just got to say, screw it. I'm shutting everything else out until I get this to a level that I, want it to be. Then I'm going to start looking for new skills to enhance it.
It's a balance, because for those of us who get extremely excited and overly enthusiastic about new ideas, it can be hard to discern the difference between just what's novel and what's really a good idea. And at the same time, for me anyway, if I'm not riding the enthusiasm, I got nothing. Like I'm like either going 0 miles an hour or 1,000 miles an hour. And if it's fueled by enthusiasm, I can go. And but you're right. It doesn't mean you should take that wave every time, you know?
Well, and here's the thing, like you mentioned, I forget the word that you just used, but it was like, is it a fad? No, you said something along the lines of a fad or riding the wave. Novel. Sometimes it's not a fad. Sometimes it's not novel. Sometimes it's breakthrough brilliant, but that still doesn't necessarily mean that you should shift to that.
Yeah.
Because you only need one really fully understandable, brilliant strategy fully implemented with the thing that you're excited and have enthusiasm over to make it work. And it doesn't mean that everything else is shitty or that everything else is better. But, you know, and it may be better, but, you know, at a certain point, you got to draw the line in the sand and say, you know.
And so in the traditional world, right, the traditional business world, this is called a business plan.
Correct.
And when I learned about business plans, oh man, I couldn't stand reading them. I had to like write one for a class once, and I hated my life so bad. And because it's like writing out these like boring plans was not exciting to me. And so I was really happy as we were talking with clients and talking with our Facebook viewers and people on our list, all these folk we've been talking with over the last 5-6 months about, look, what's preventing you from moving forward? What's preventing you from getting going? What's really stopping you? Right. And really, at the end of the day, it came down to one thing. And the one thing that we have realized that it comes down to is you don't have a clear plan that's written out and or visualized out. You don't have
you have confidence will get you where you want to go.
Exactly. Where you're not just blowing smoke, making something up, crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. And so
come on, jackpot.
That's right. And this all changed for me when I first met Joshua. Is learning some of his principles, concepts, and ideas allowed me to start seeing what my business was going to look like after the plan was implemented for the first time. And that's how I created my first $1 million business, was on the back of this like organized plan that I created. And so we're actually doing a cool training on this. We're going to do a live interactive workshop in a couple of days. And we're going to walk you through what we're calling the perfect internet business plan. And we're going to share with you the 3 main puzzle pieces that you need to have in place in order to make an online business model hum and really get it working in your area of interest, in your market, niche, or industry, based on either your new business idea or your existing business. And so if you felt overwhelmed by all the technology, does this link go straight there at this point?
I fixed it so it does.
Okay. Great. Awesome. I had that as all right, cool, great. So blah 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 blah. What was I saying? I was saying
we're doing a really cool web class.
Yeah, we're doing this workshop on Friday midday, and it's called the Perfect Internet Business Plan. And we're going to share with you how to build a step-by-step systematized business that gets traffic, that generates leads, and sells the products or services to the people that you want to sell them to. It's an incredible business model, and it is something that you can build in 90 days or less. So we're going to do a walkthrough of the business plan and help you begin to customize it to yourself and your own idea and what you're working on. We're going to share with you how all the puzzle pieces fit into place and the order the sequence in which you need to put them in place in order for this whole thing to work, right? So you guys can go to etgworkshops.com, etgworkshops.com, and you can register right there for the live interactive virtual workshop that we're doing on Friday, the day before Halloween.
Yep.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be spooky.
Wicked spooky. So yeah, that's the name of the game. That's the name of the game. Very excited to be sharing this with you guys the first time we've done a presentation on this topic. And so I'm really, really looking forward to helping you guys get out of analysis paralysis, out of information overload and overwhelm, and into action, really building the internet business of your dreams, the thing that you've been hoping for, that you've been looking for. I want to show you how to do it. And I think you're going to learn a lot and hopefully have a few big aha moments, if nothing else, that you take away so that you can really start moving forward instead of staying stuck.
Yep, for sure. And I'm excited at what this is the foundation of in terms of, like creating an interactive blueprint workshop.
That's right.
And turning it into that type of thing where, like you literally can walk away with your own custom plan.
That's right. That's right. Cool. Awesome. Well, I think that's about it for today, ladies and gentlemen.
Sounds like a plan, man.
If you want to get out of all of those question marks and get some clarity on exactly what to do and how to do it and when to do next, join us on Friday. Go ahead to go to etgworkshops.com, register, and we will see you at 2 p.m. Eastern on Friday.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
All right. Toodaloo.
See ya.
Thanks, everybody.